And we are live. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 109 of Checkpoint, brought to you by Strictly Casual, your number one show rounding up all the hottest gaming news stories of the week and discussing the relevant topics you need to know about. I'm one of your hosts, Vincent DeSantis, joined today by the almost graduated James Walmer. James, how are you feeling right now? 3 more weeks.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
I still don't have a plan of what I'm going to do after college.
James, same. I'm working on it. We're trying my best.
We're trying. It is the 20s, baby.
It sure is. James, I can't believe that's coming soon. So you guys, James will be taking the next 3 weeks off of Checkpoint, by the way. So say goodbye today, okay? Leave your comments, blow your kisses, baby. Blow your kisses. But he'll be back shortly. Audio listeners, thank you so much for listening. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/strictlycasual. Please hit us with a rating on audio platforms and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. On the channel right now, we're working on Moon Knight stuff. We got Ryder went to the Northman red carpet and met Florence Pugh, and so he made a video on that. It's crazy. And he met the main actor, took a picture with them. Just crazy.
Wow.
Just crazy. Had like a whirlwind of a night. I'm extremely jealous that he got to walk
insane.
the red carpet with Willem Dafoe. That was just pretty badass. We got a Thor trailer reaction, and I saw a lot of love for Anna Mutationum on the timeline yesterday because someone did a 6-1 indie who are basically similar to what Strictly Casual does. They did a little indie showcase showing off some indie games that didn't necessarily get a lot of praise when they released this last 6 months or so. And their favorite one they picked was Anna Mutationum. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a review on that on the channel, baby. I played in Platinum that game. Great game.
Very cool.
Great game. So I'm feeling above the curve on that one. Felt good. Felt good when people were talking about it. I was like, played it.
You're like, I was there. I was there.
Usually it's like, oh yeah, I'll add it to my list to play. But I was like, I got it. I got that one.
Yep.
Love it. So James, this week, it's probably been a pretty busy week for you since we're leading up to the graduation here. But have you played
anything? 1:30 Monday night. But that doesn't mean I didn't have time for a little bit of Elden Ring.
Yes,
baby.
sir.
Last week I got some serious Elden Ring in. Finally got the Bloodhound steps, so I'm moving around like an anime character. Zoom in, dodge in, moving around. Even though I don't use it that much. So what I did is I started using the Knight Rider glaive, which is like a big pole arm with a with a blade on the end. Yeah. And I applied the Bloodhound step to that, so that's like my light build, my light fast build.
Got it.
And I was talking to some friends of mine, and I saw you were playing a little bit of Elden Ring too, Ben.
I was.
So we gotta talk about that. But I fought this boss called Estella, right?
Okay.
And it's this huge centipede looking dude, and he's got a skull for a face with these mandibles, and he shoots lasers at you. And it's cool ass boss fight.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's an optional boss, but it's cool as hell. Great stage setup, just a lot of good attack variation. But then my buddy, I was talking to him, he said, yeah, and then you fight Estelle again for another boss. And it made me think, and I said, I don't think I like Elden Ring as much as I like Dark Souls 3.
Because of the reuse of bosses?
The reuse of bosses. I just don't think...
Because Margit comes back, right? Margit?
Yeah, Margit comes back. A lot of, you fight 4 Falling Star beasts.
Yeah.
A lot of these bosses, you just get the same exact ones. They aren't even reskinned, but because it's so boss-centric, you fight a lot of it. You'll either have, Godskin Apostle. You fight 4 or 5 Godskin Apostles, and then you get them as a duo fight.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed some of those bosses, but they aren't rememberable when they're every other boss fight. I mean, they're memorable, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. And I heard that late game, they sometimes double up on enemies that you fought before just to make it harder instead of giving a new boss that could. So that's interesting too. I'm not really there yet, so I don't know. I'm not far in the game. Even though I'm 40 plus hours in, I'm not far. So I haven't experienced a lot of that yet.
I'm at level 99 for reference.
Okay. I am at level 65, 64.
Okay. But you're about to hit it soon.
You'll
fight another magma worm, and you'll be I fought 3 magma worms, actually.
Dude, I made that magma worm my bitch on like
Good.
time number 4. I was like, I got
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Who did I beat? I beat there's like a big like clean rock guy who you get a executioner sword from, which that was a cool area.
Yeah.
But it's just I like going back and remembering Dark Souls 3. I liked having a distinct path that you kind of go because within that you like it never feels like you have to go and explore everything. But in Elden Ring, it just doesn't work as much as an open world game for me. Like I feel very much like guilty if I don't go and
Yeah.
explore every single nook and cranny. And before moving areas, I feel like I have to go back and pick up where I have to go clear an area out of all the collectibles and everything
Yeah.
before I
move
on, or make sure I try and find all the the dungeons and do all the what are they called, hyper jails, something like that. Ever jails, that's what they're called.
Yeah.
Ever jails. And so the completionist side of it doesn't really fit with me very well. With Dark Souls, I love being able to go off the beaten path and know that that beaten path was rewarding and would have something at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then, but it was never required. And if I saw like a guide or something, I'd be like, oh, okay, I know where that is because I'm very familiar with this distinct line that I take.
Right.
And I know where that branches off.
Yeah.
And going back to the bosses, every single boss fight is rememberable because there's only one of that boss. Enemies don't repeat. That's the thing in later game too, is when you get into the snow area, a lot of the mob enemies in Elden Ring, yes, like almost all of the mob enemies are just like reskins or dead copies of old enemies that like have the same exact move sets. You're like, oh, I get it. This is just that enemy, but this, or but reskinned, or maybe a little bigger, or with more health.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. And I think I haven't not played like a lot of Dark Souls 3, right? I've only played like 10, not 10 minutes, but like 30 minutes, let's say, an hour. So I can't really speak on like the comparison to other like Souls games, but something that I'm definitely feeling right now about the exploration. I feel like I felt this for a while, but I was open to my opinion changing on it, and I don't know if it has yet in like the 40 hours I've played, is that I like the fact that Elden Ring does not have a set path. Like you don't have to do this first, you don't have to do this first. You can kind of go and you find out whether or not you're leveled enough by checking it out and like going to those places. But I feel like every time I feel like I've hit like, okay, this is like a milestone. Like I've defeated this, I've conquered this, like after Renala, right? And there's a maybe hour to 2 hour huge lull for me. Huge lull where I'm like, this area is way too overpowered. Like I get destroyed and it's like I'm not having fun even trying this area because like the hand castle
like, give me an example. Oh,
it's the hand castle right now. I feel like I can't do anything in there without getting destroyed. I'm trying to play it differently, find another entrance. I was like, I'll go somewhere else for now. So now I'm in Khalid, right? Or whatever. Khalid. Trying to go around. And I finally feel like I could do some stuff in Khalid, but I don't know where to go, bro. I'm trying to find Radahn. I'm like, I'm following the graces. I'm running around. I don't want to look it up because I know I'm like so close to it. Like I don't want to look it up to see where he is or where I should go. But I'm like, I'm just wandering and I'm not like, this is what I did this week is I had already beaten Renala like last week or so, 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, I don't know what the next goal is for me. And I haven't found that next goal. I know when I find that next goal, I'll be right on track again. I'll be not grinding for it, but I'll be playing towards that. Right now I don't have a focus. And that for me is like, oh, I know I have a focus in a different game right now. And I know I can like feel like I'm making a step. Right now I don't feel like I'm making, even leveling up, I don't feel like I'm making a step in Elden Ring.
See, I feel the same way. It's those lulls in between those paths where I'm like, oh, I'm on this path and I know this is like a new area that I'm supposed to go to. But when I'm trying to find that new area, like that was me in the Altus Plateau for a little bit, is because it felt like going from the area you're at right now in Raya Lucaria, and I forgot the name of the castle in the northwest.
Yeah.
But going from there to the capital, because the capital's in kind of the northern section. Going from there to there, it feels like Altus Plateau. There's just a path that goes straight to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is just like a little transition area. But in reality, like if you keep going north, there's a whole nother area. You get to Volcano Manor and you get to Mount whatever, and you go to the clean rock castle called Shade Castle.
Okay, so on both sides, so we're doing a lot of Elden Ring talk. I'm kind of down with it though. It's fine. So you have the Hands Castle on if you're looking at the map, the left-hand side.
It's northwest.
Yeah, northwest. Right. And then on the right-hand side, so there's the lake in between kind of thing. The right-hand side, you have these giant archers with these crazy bows that two-shot me. It's like the big boys. Like I can take them down, but I'm getting rocked in there. So I was like, okay, let's see what's down the middle. And there was this whole mining place, so I went up the mining place. There's like 5 graces and you're like traveling through this. I was like, I'm doing this. Yeah. There's the Bat Lady boss. You got not boss, but like there's these crazy Bat Ladies. I don't know. They're scary.
You're talking about going up the mountain.
Yeah, up the mountain. And then I get to the new area. Like I got to the new area.
Yeah, that's the magma worms at the top
there.
Yeah,
killed that thing. And then it's, I don't know, it's more Ghost of Tsushima looking. It's very like autumn, like leaves are falling, like it's
Altus Plateau.
Yeah, but I'm like, I can't continue here. Like there's a giant like dragon that just jumps in right there. I'm like, I just can't do anything here. So I'm going back and I'm like, I want to go that way. Like I want to go that way so badly. But now I have to play. I had to go try to like figure out what the hell to do. And you have to go through the mental
hoop. You have to go through the mental hoop of, okay, now I'm in that lull again where I'm trying to figure out where the hell do I go, and I don't have a direction to go into. I'm just like thrown back out into this.
Yeah. And this isn't to say that I'm not enjoying my time trying to figure that out, but it's very hard for me to be like, I'm going to play. If I was like playing this game nonstop, putting hours and hours in every day, I wouldn't feel these lulls. But sometimes I'm playing days apart to where I'm like, I have a lull, complete play sesh, that's a lull, and I go back in and it's still a lull, and I'm like, I need to find that direction.
You forget like things that you would have remembered if you would have been kind of just dumping hours into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I like the Souls games, because I feel like it is very like, even though it's so much less about leveling and weird like skill jumps, because it's like, because it just sets you on that path and you're like, okay, this is about skill, and if I can't get past an enemy, it's not because I'm not leveled enough, it's because I haven't figured out how to beat it, or it's because I'm just not playing well enough. Yeah. So I need to just figure out how to get good, I guess, to beat this boss. And that's more of a how do I say? It's more of an accepting challenge for me to do that, rather than dicking around and trying to go and do around all these other things and trying to find and go through that whole like kind of mindless process.
Right.
Of like, I can go somewhere and I'm not even sure if that's like the right way, or I don't know if there's anything that's going to be rewarding in that direction, or I don't know if I've been there before because it's been a week since I played the game and I kind of forgot. But
James, I'm going to be an Elden Lord though. One of these days it's going to happen.
Oh, I'm also very committed.
Yeah.
But I also want you to be a Lord of Cinder.
I don't know what that is, but is
that's the Dark Souls 3?
Got it. Okay. Maybe I'll be a Lord of Cinder one day as well. We'll see.
So my friends Gabe and Eli went back and played Dark Souls 3 after they beat Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And they said it was much easier for them.
Interesting.
Because they said, oh, you just do a lot more damage and enemies do less damage to you and you have more health.
Yeah. I like it, dude. Maybe I'm a From Software convert now. Maybe I am.
After years of trying to convert you.
Exactly.
Okay, let me ask you one question.
Yes, hit me.
What would be your ideal Soulsborne game to jump into after Elden Ring? If
Bloodborne. I already have Bloodborne downloaded.
Bloodborne?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Bloodborne. I was inspired. And there's just so much love for that game.
Yeah.
There's so much love for it. I want to mention one more thing before we get into the news. I did beat Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga this week. I played all 9 of them, and it took 34 hours. 34 hours.
And you loved every minute.
James, it was so much fun because something that I did not realize the first time is how much they would make fun of the movies. Like the movies take themselves so seriously, but this game makes fun of them, and it's so great. I love that. So great. I enjoyed my time with it. I want to go back and do the platinum. You have to clear out all the planets for all the collectibles and stuff. But it's fun because all the challenges are with different characters you unlock along the way, and you need different powers, or like the force powers, or bounty hunters, or heroes, like different classes. And you have to replay the levels to kind of go to these secret pathways and unlock these secrets with the powers of each character.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fun, dude. Like, I'm gonna keep it downloaded. I'm kind of like putting it on hold for now while I go back to Elden Ring and Horizon. But great game. I'm having more fun with that than Horizon. And then I would say it's a game of the year contender for me. I'll say it, bro. It's great.
Yeah, sure.
It's really good.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna say it's better than Elden Ring, but it's really good.
And I think this is a good like place to be at, especially in the game release cycle, because we're about to hit a huge drought.
Thank God, baby, because I need it.
Spring into summer drought of like all the way up until August, we won't have anything, and so that's when I'm gonna hit Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, you
remake.
are. Yeah, you are.
Yep. That's my big.
Sifu coming in the mail in a couple weeks.
Cool.
The Steelbook edition. Very excited for it.
Very cool.
Good. Let's see. Do we want to jump into this right away? Do we want to jump into this?
Let's get into the news.
Let's do this.
Let's jump into it.
I had to text my boss back. Like, it's kind of an urgent one, but that's okay. I'll just do the story.
Do you want me to read it and then you can?
No, I got it because I gotta. Explain myself.
Because this is kind of your
I gotta explain this. All right. Number 1, I'm calling this the Vin's Ragtag CD Projekt Red story. Okay. Now,
I love it.
I don't know how legitimate of a story this is. I think it's legitimate enough that I want to talk about it because I think it's kind of fun. And I haven't seen very many people talking about it. So here we go. CD Projekt Red this week had a huge investors call. All right. And we know the last year has been a little tough on the investors of CD Projekt Red, to say the least. Okay. The big thing that came out of this investors call was that The Witcher 3 next gen version had been delayed indefinitely. They're not ready to release it. They don't have a release date on it yet. They're still working on it, but they got a lot of things brewing. And that's what every single news story was about. But I found some Twitter person who was screenshotting these like actual like questions that were being asked on the investor call, because everything is transcripted out. Everything. I have the link here to the entire transcript of the call. But so I was scrolling through that because he linked it, and I was like, there's some interesting stuff in here. So I want to jump into this. Cyberpunk 2077 is still using the CD Red or whatever Red engine to make its expansion pack for Cyberpunk 2077, right?
Right.
But it sounds like from this call that is not coming out until 2023 now. They said it's not coming out in this year, which means that they would be dropping that expansion. This is not the DLC. This is the expansion. The DLC still might be dropping this year, but the actual expansion.
Wait, hold on. What's the difference between expansion and DLC?
They mentioned that multiple times in this, is that they said DLC separately than expansion, which means I would assume that those are separate things. They didn't say release date for DLC.
What does that mean in your mind? Where does your mind go?
My mind for DLC goes like, oh, maybe you get more guns, you get a couple side missions or something like that. A little, maybe a side story that you get. And I'm thinking expansion is like either a massive story expansion, or because they've been talking like
a new map maybe.
Yeah, there's this whole area in the game, and when you play it, they mention a lot of things going on there, and you don't really get to play it, and you don't really get to go there too much. But it's very much a waterfront like area. It used to be like super rich area. It's like I would say a futuristic Malibu. I would say like very resorty kind of thing. And you don't get to go there a lot in the game, but people are saying like there's so much detail in there when you look at it. Like that has to be a playable area coming soon. Who knows? I don't know. But I would assume that would be the expansion eventually. But the thing I want to talk about is the multiplayer aspect that apparently got canceled, but it seems maybe it could be uncanceled, but it's still there. Like there's some thoughts on it that are happening in this. So the president of Cyberpunk, or of CD Projekt Red, said, I don't know how to say this name. Nebulowitz. He said that the game has sold 18 million copies, which is obviously extremely good. And the game is finally in a state that they are happy with.
Great.
But when talking about the engines, the Red engines, and then switching to UE5, because that's the big transition that CD Projekt Red is making right now, they said that the Red engine is not getting any more multiplayer updates. They said they're using the multiplayer updates for Unreal Engine 5 now. James, what could the multiplayer thing be that they were working on for the Red engine?
They've been talking about multiplayer stuff for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, and then they canceled it before the game came out.
Yes.
During a delay, they said no more. It could be coming still. I'll read this in a second, but a lot of people are like, oh, they're just going to make Cyberpunk 2077 and port it to UE5. I'm like, that's not easy. They're not going to do that. That's not like a code switch.
They have to kind of like reconstruct a lot of assets. Yeah.
Here's my thoughts. Red Engine, the only multiplayer thing I can think of that CD Projekt is doing is the Gwent game, right?
Yeah.
That's it, right? No, but listen. That can't be the only multiplayer thing they developed for the Red Engine. Why would they? Like, that's not even multiplayer. That's like connecting to somebody else and playing a card game. That's not like multiplayer, I guess.
Right. I mean, it is multiplayer.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's tough to. Anyways,
it doesn't seem like it's what they're talking about.
It does not seem like what they're talking about at all. So here we go. This question came from an investor. It doesn't say who the investor was, but the second question is, you've recognized a write-off on Red Engine with regard to multiplayer features. But on the other hand, during past conferences, you said you were going to work on online elements in Cyberpunk. Does this mean you've given up development of online elements in Cyberpunk? And so the president of CD Projekt Red said, I'll take the second one. So he's not answering the first question. I'm assuming that's what he's saying. He said, we're switching our multiplayer activities from Red Engine to UE. Having signed a licensing and partnership agreement with Epic, we gained access to multiplayer solutions available in UE. So as a result, we abandoned further work, keyword further work, on adding multiplayer features to Red Engine. And the corresponding to date expenditures were reassigned from fixed assets to other operating expenses. So absolutely dodging the multiplayer Cyberpunk question, saying that their focus is on UE5 now. But I think there's a chance. That's all. That was the entire
What the hell is this multiplayer experience?
I don't know, James. Do you want to drive around Night City with me? I
do. Well, do you know what my first thought was?
What?
Cyberpunk racing. Cyberkart.
Finally. The thing we've all been waiting for. Cyberkart. Yeah, so this could be crazy. Could be crazy. I don't know. I think it's not actually happening. But reading this gave me a little bit of hope.
Multiplayer is not actually happening?
Yeah. I really think that they will develop this expansion. I believe the DLC will come out and stuff, but it doesn't make sense for them to work on this more.
It's also maybe not a want. This is not a perceived need. Like, I've never talked to anyone who's like, yeah, I want multiplayer in Cyberpunk 2077.
I think when they outlined it before release, because before release, our expectations were so high of this game. And so the idea that multiplayer could be a thing, was exciting, but now after it coming out, I'm fine with it being just a single player game. I do love the game, but I don't need the multiplayer element. But I'd be excited if they were to introduce that. It could be exciting.
I guess. You've played it more than me.
Yeah, I played a lot of it. I played a lot of Cyberpunk.
But these games tend to, like, a lot of people tend to say that, like, this is the same scenario as Skyrim. Oh, I want Skyrim multiplayer to be able to go around, Skyrim with a buddy of mine and do quests together. That would be awesome. That would be ideal.
Right.
But then the big problem that is balancing and loot distribution and things like that.
It becomes a different game. You have to really.
It literally has to be a different game because shit just don't work.
They have the groundwork for what it could be, I bet, but actually doing the multiplayer thing would be insanity.
And then they have to run it. Like, they need the server space. They need to balance things. There's a whole new list of responsibilities and patches and things like that come with a multiplayer.
I'm trying to think. Has CD Projekt Red done multiplayer things in the past besides Gwent?
No.
So
not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head either. So it might be a rocky. If they did it, they would have to have so much infrastructure built just for that. Like, it would be big undertaking.
I don't think they have.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
I understand CD Projekt is a relatively big studio to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're not built like that.
No. They're not built like that. You're correct. All right.
Next story. Amy Hennig has returned to Star Wars. This comes from Polygon. A new Star Wars game is in development at Skydance New Media, the interactive studio founded in 2019 by game director Amy Hennig. Lucasfilm Games and Skydance announced Tuesday its return to the Star Wars franchise for Hennig, who had previously worked with the franchise at EA's Visceral Games on an ambitious but ultimately canceled project in a galaxy set far, far away.
Do you remember this? Do you remember seeing that?
Well, two things. Visceral Games is no longer, it doesn't exist anymore.
EA said, Old Yeller did.
Yep. Which like everyone was pissed about.
Yeah.
Because everyone fucking loved visceral games.
Yeah.
2, was this the Star Wars 1313?
This was Star Wars Ragtag, which was a
what the hell was Star Wars Ragtag?
Indiana Jones inspired Star Wars game. It was like a treasure hunting game in Star Wars. There's footage of it.
How do I not remember?
And there's concept art. I don't remember it. I didn't remember it a lot either until I saw some stuff. And then I listened to another podcast where they were really talking about like some more details of it. And there's a lot of concept art for this game out, like a lot of it. And it looked cool. It looked really cool.
Read this next point while I look at whatever this.
So Skydance New Media describes its new untitled Star Wars project as a richly cinematic action-adventure game featuring an original story, but did not reveal specifics. No title, release date, or platforms were announced. Quote, I've often described how seeing Star Wars in 1977 essentially rewired my 12-year-old brain, shaping my creative life and future indelibly, Hennig said in a news release. I'm elated to be working with Lucasfilm again to tell interactive stories in a galaxy that I love. Does any of that concept art look familiar to you?
Concept art looks very familiar. I remember this. I just don't remember it getting the code name Ragtag.
Yeah, me neither.
Concept name Ragtag. I just thought it was like EA. I thought it was the Star Wars RPG, the Star Wars open world RPG.
That was 1313, right?
I think no.
Or that's the bounty hunter
was a story-driven bounty hunter one that was kind of like an Uncharted but Star Wars.
Oh, maybe this was like. Well, why did I say Indiana Jones then? Maybe it is Uncharted. I don't know. I was listening to something and they compared it to that because you're
Star Wars 1313 was the gameplay demo where they're like in 1313 there was the big cylinder and they were on this like the ship or and they were there's like a corridor and
very Judge Dredd looking.
Very Judge Dredd looking, but it was a cover shooter like Uncharted.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this was something new. But according to a Tuesday's news release, Skydance Media has since grown to include developers and artists with decades of AAA experience in action and adventure gaming, as well as a diverse team of creative consultants from the worlds of film, television, games, and comics. What's next?
Skydance New Media announced its first project, an untitled Marvel game, last fall. Hennig and team described that project as a narrative-driven, blockbuster action-adventure game featuring a completely original story and take on the Marvel Universe. Kind of exciting. Hennig's untitled Star Wars game joins at least 5 others in development with Lucasfilm Games. I don't know why I divided it like that. Those projects include Quantic Dream Star Wars Eclipse, an open-world Star Wars adventure from Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment, and 3 games from Respawn Entertainment, a sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a new first-person shooter, and a strategy game co-developed with Bit Reactor, a studio founded by former XCOM devs.
Yeah, so a lot of Star Wars games. This did not mention KOTOR.
Star Wars. It did not mention KOTOR, which means that
different developer though.
Different developer.
Does
that mean it's not Lucasfilm Games?
I guess not. Who's doing it?
That's odd.
Aspire? Aspire's doing it.
Aspire is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I'm sure there's a deal
there.
What
does Aspire do?
I can't think of it off the top of my head. Okay, James, the question I have for you right now is, what do you want this Star Wars game to be? Here's all the only details we have. Richly cinematic, action-adventure game with an original story. Those are the 3 details we have.
Sounds like Star Wars 1313, baby.
It sounds like Star Wars 1313, but I don't think it is. I think we're getting something new. Could be anything.
What era do you want it to be in?
Post Order 66, obviously. No, we already have that for Fallen Order, so it could be. I want it in the High Republic era.
Oh, because we are getting other High Republic media, huh?
High Republic is in full swing right now, baby. The trilogy of the books just finished. The last one got released recently. And that's all canon stuff. We have obviously the Knights of the Old Republic remake that's happening, but I'm talking something different than that, like something else.
But I'm saying, isn't there High Republic like digital media that's coming out soon? Like they've slated either a show or
no, there's rumors of a show being set in the High Republic because there's a untitled Star Wars Disney Plus show that's happening. And it seems like from its description, it could potentially be High Republic, but there's no confirmed thing yet. I remember we did talk about that, I think.
Yeah, so on that note, I think High Republic is a good area to start to break into because I think we've just had this oversaturated universe of these 9 movies and everything that could happen in there regarding to like the core storyline. So I think it would be nice to branch out and have some really, 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 and when I say original, I don't mean like just an original character within this very familiar universe. I
Yeah.
mean an original story on an original planet that we haven't seen before that has its own unique culture and things like that, while maintaining a lot of like, Star Wars, like very much like the Force and, all
Yeah.
the sort of mystical things we're going at. So um I'm excited because I wanted Star Wars 1313 so bad. I hope that it's not a Jedi game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I could take or leave a Jedi game. I just
Because we have Fallen Order and
yeah.
Fallen Order 2, which is supposed to come out
You know
this
what?
year.
Give me another one where we play as an Imperial or someone bad. Like it's been a while since we played as a bad guy. Had a story.
I still want a bounty hunter game. Yeah. I want 1313 because it was a bounty hunter game.
I'm sure that's happening eventually.
It's got to.
Like, oh baby, redo Force Unleashed and make it canon. Do a canon Force Unleashed.
We don't need it. We don't need it.
It's so good. It's so good.
We don't need it.
Also, another thing, I think there are some really cool things that could be done in video games if it was in the High Republic. In the book I'm reading right now, there's a scene where they call upon Jedis on different planets to stop this giant ship from crashing into this literal planet, and everybody's like praying to the Force basically, and it's like the most epic moment. They're all like yelling and screaming, like their clothes are ripping off them as they're using the Force from like different planets. And like, oh, it's so badass. I'm like, they could do some sweet stuff with games of that, like super powerful. Like, I don't know, could be awesome. That's all. That's all.
All right. That's kind of awesome.
It's kind of awesome.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch the whole podcast, become a member here on YouTube or listen for free on the audio platform of your choosing.
Yep.
Vincent, say anything you wanted to?
That's it.
All right.
Perfect.
Guys, Nintendo got hit with the schlick schlack blip blat labor complaint.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely domed by a labor complaint. This comes from Axios.com and Steven Totillo on Twitter. We've covered his things before. I didn't know he was also an Axios writer.
Oh yeah, you've had interactions with him on Twitter.
Yeah, I have talked to this guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
This is a lot of legal talk, so preface. But I think he does a good job of he has categories throughout this article that kind of explain what's going on and what the repercussions of this could be.
Yeah.
So here it is. An unnamed worker is alleging that Nintendo and a firm it uses for hiring contractors violated their legally protected right to unionize, according to a new filing with the National Labor Relations Board, which we'll refer to as the NLRB. Why it matters. The NLRB complaint filed on Friday brings one of gaming's most successful companies into the increasingly active conversation about workers' rights in the sector. The details. The allegations state that Nintendo of America and global firm Aston Carter engaged in concerted activities and made coercive actions against a worker, interfering with their legally protected right to organize. The exact claims of what happened are unclear because the publicly posted docket for the complaint lists broad charges, but doesn't subscribe what is said to have occurred. This changes because Stephen Totillo tweeted out details on those allegations as a result of a redacted charge letter, which he puts on his Twitter. You can go look at that if you like. He outlines a few of them, and I'll outline them after I read this. It does claim, or it does indicate, that allegations were likely to include claims of surveillance, threats, and retaliation in either a layoff or refusal to hire. Nintendo of America, which is based in Redmond, Washington, is a division of the Kyoto-based gaming giant. The NLRB complaint was filed in Washington State as well. And while Nintendo is well known, Aston Carter is a less visible player in the gaming industry because a lot of people just go through Aston Carter to hire workers.
Yeah.
Online job listings show it has recruited customer service and administrative contractors for Nintendo. And neither company has responded to a request for a comment by press time. Now, here's what's kind of going on. It says between the lines, or what's going on in the space that contributes to this.
Right.
Unionization efforts in gaming, which we've talked about here on the show, have increased over the last year due to both simmering worker discontent in an intense field and in reaction to high-profile scandals at big game companies like Activision Blizzard with Body Kotick. Some workers at Call of Duty and World of Warcraft giant Activision Blizzard announced the beginning of a union drive in January, and employees of subsidiary Raven Software, which we've also covered, are currently in a labor dispute with Activision management that is being overseen by the NLRB. The bottom line, Nintendo has, at least publicly, largely avoided any of the scandals rocking the industry.
That's true.
For the most part, good for them. The NLRB complaint could change that, however. While an investigation will still follow and the complaints could be cleared, University of California, Berkeley professor and labor expert Harley Shaken tells Axios the situation shouldn't be ignored. Quote, if the NLRB is listing these allegations, it's pretty serious and their ability to act on it is very real. Vincent, before I go forward with further details, do you have any questions or thoughts?
Let me get this straight. I want to get the boiled down version here. There's an employee at Nintendo who basically...
Well, hold on. First of all, it's not clear because what people can do is other people can submit this labor complaint on behalf of someone else.
Sure.
It could be someone
to keep anonymity.
Yes, to keep the person safe. Yes.
Okay. So someone's raising some sort of concern at the company. So whether it's through a vessel of somebody else or something, there is complaints towards
Nintendo of America or Aston Carter
for not being able to unionize. And there's active conversation about some workers' rights stuff going on. No details on like what exactly they're going against, but some sort of claim has been made against them. Oh no!
So I'll read that right now.
Coercive actions.
Yes, but Nintendo of America / Aston Carter said to have discharged employee who either tried to join or support a union, cracked down concerted labor activities, so like organized labor meetings or something like that, and surveilled employee. So like that sounds like they had broken some sort of privacy of employee and stuck their nose where it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
In the employee's business.
Overextended that reach and that's not good.
Something like that.
Okay, and then I got it.
Yeah, so that's essentially what happened is Nintendo or Aston Carter has overstepped their boundaries and taken coercive action, allegedly, and the employee or someone on behalf of the employee has submitted this complaint, which would shed light on another industry giant following these same labor practices that we've seen in companies like Activision Blizzard. And thus bringing them into this conversation
about union
workers. It is tales of the time. So in terms of a timeline, this investigation will take about 7 to 14 weeks. And NLRB still has to investigate and could dismiss or pursue it. So if they choose to go forward and investigate this, it will take 7 to 14 weeks.
I would assume that they have to see, like, they have to talk to other employees. They have to see the severity of this. Like, if it's just a couple people or like one person and stuff, maybe they don't try to like launch this, or they do this full investigation and try to press something. Whatever.
Well, I think that's what the investigation would consist of.
Yeah, right. They got to figure that out.
Because in the investigation, they would go around and talk to the other employees on their behalf and represent them.
I want to believe that Nintendo treats its people better, but you know what? I'm sure that it doesn't matter where it is.
I have no reason to believe they treat their employees well. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's hard to. And we're gonna get this conversation about a lot of companies. Like, it's not like these are new conversations happening. They're just ones that are coming to light more often than the ones that don't. That's really what it comes down to.
And because of that, they're new conversations in this space because they're brought to light. Right.
When usually they're just swept under the rug. Sounds like a lot more people are looking out for those things that are usually swept under the rug right now. So well, I'm sure we'll get more news when the investigation continues too.
I saw a tweet about this, and it said Nintendo has to release some sort of huge direct to distract from these allegations. And so on the left-hand side, it's Stephen Totila's tweet regarding this. And on the other side, it's Nintendo of America tweeting out, "Say hi to Kirby, everyone, smiley face."
They don't care.
Yeah.
Their social
apparently.
media team. It's funny.
But that's all we know so far.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll find out more
It's
soon.
crazy. I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
Yeah.
We'll be continuing to cover this as it develops, if it develops, right? Because
Yeah,
of the investigation. I mean, we'll cover it whether the investigation fails,
right,
or
and
goes through, because that's going to be an indication.
We haven't heard the end of Activision stuff. We have not heard
that's
the end
still
of
going
Raven
on
stuff.
too.
Like, this is, if anything, let's say all these investigations fail or something like that. I don't think they can fail. They're showing a side of the industry that people don't want to talk about, and so regardless, this will bubble up into something much bigger. Regardless, even if this right now just seems like another notch or just another thing to throw in, if it's not the actual peak, but there's gonna be something that pops the bubble. I don't know if this is it, but something will happen.
Right. It's just a lot of things going into the pot, and it's going to stir up so much that it's eventually going to spill.
Exactly, baby. On to some more lighthearted news. That is not it's not shit worker conditions. Damn it. Sega is reportedly working on big budget reboots of Crazy Taxi. Hey. I love Crazy Taxi.
I've never played it.
Dude. James, right after this, you need to look up the Crazy Taxi intro. They go, hey. It's so good. And Jet Set Radio, which I know a couple people that say that Jet Set Radio is their favorite game of all time.
It goes crazy. Like, the movement is just so...
Yeah. There's a little, bone to throw in here, though. It's not a good, tasty morsel, I'll tell you that much, okay? Here's what we got. Okay. Sega has reportedly started working on big budget reboots of two cult titles, Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. Crazy Taxi I would put as a very formative game in my life, up there with Crash Bandicoot and Lego Star Wars, The Complete Saga. Okay, wow. Very formative.
Wow.
And Tekken 2 and 3. According to a report from Bloomberg citing people familiar with the plans, the Japanese game giant wants to create new games that can become global hits like Fortnite and deliver recurring revenue.
What the fuck?
Vague hints of Sega's plans in this department having appearing for a while now. In the company's annual earning report, the year ended in March 2021, and it named Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi as examples of past IPs it wanted to utilize through reboots, remasters, and remakes. So that's all fine, but this same report discussed an internal super game initiative which Sony executive Suju Utsumi later explained would mean building multi-platform AAA titles with global releases.
Wait, let's talk about these other games too, like Rez, Panzer Dragoon, and Streets of Rage, that they want to do the same thing too.
Yes, but I want to talk to you about the verbiage here, James. The verbiage is, these games, they want to become global hits like Fortnite to deliver reoccurring revenue, which means, are these
live service games,
live service free-to-play Crazy Taxi?
What the fuck?
Hey.
How the fuck are they going to turn Jet Set Radio into a live service game?
I don't know. The new Crazy Taxi game has been in development for a year, Bloomberg says, with a targeted release of 2024-2025. No such time frame for Jet Set Radio is mentioned. The publication stresses that both new games are in the early stages of creation, and they still could be canceled. Crazy Taxi tasked players to deliver in fares around a fictional San Francisco as quickly as possible, while Tokyo-based Jet Set Radio offered a number of game modes focused on an inline skating and graffiti tagging. Both titles are much more focused on gameplay than story, but Jet Set Radio's use of factions and competitions seem particularly well suited for the sort of mass participation multiplayer that has helped make Fortnite popular. How the hell, James? How are you going to convince me? Pitch this to me. Pitch this to me right now.
All right.
You're at
E3.
You're at E3.
I'm at E3. I'm Sega. Wait, okay,
you hear
this is how Sega Man talks.
You hear smoke coming out, and then you hear hey, and then someone walks out. What happens? What do they say?
It says, "Today we all know and love the game Jet Set Radio and create. So we know the fan favorite games of Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. These are games that had a profound impact in our upbringing and allowed us to inform the types of games we love, we know and love today."
And I have tear running down my eye at this point. I'm watching it from home, like on the couch. Keep going.
"Today we'd like to announce that we are making a decision to not only reboot these franchises, but bring them back in a way that allows players to continue to revisit them as time goes on and continue to invest and reward players for their time that they input into these games. So with that decision, we'd like to announce Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio with their own trailers and seasons 1 and 2 of their content.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Now, James, explain to me the core gameplay of the Fortnite-inspired Crazy Taxi game. What are you going to be doing?
Said inspired by multi-billion-dollar game Fortnite. This Crazy Taxi reboot will feature a developing storyline with a world that changes from season to season, in which you start off in San Francisco, but you might be able to find yourself in the Crazy Taxi across the streets of London, Tokyo, New York City, having encounters with other players in ways that we never thought possible before.
And then here comes the developer questions. This is audience questions for E3. I'm changing the format of E3 a little bit. So, hi, big fan of Crazy Taxi. This has just been an awesome announcement. I can't wait to see what you guys are doing. Does this mean we'll be delivering pizzas across countries?
Well, it's funny that you actually say that, because and one thing we really want to focus on in Crazy Taxi and the scale of it that we're really aiming for is that we want to be able to create experiences across the globe from whether that's between London or Tokyo or New York City or Los Angeles. We want to give the player complete freedom to go wherever they choose and start their Crazy Taxi journey.
I got another question. This is really important. I always play Fortnite with 4 friends, and we have a full squad every time. Am I going to be able to full squad up in Crazy Taxi Season 1?
While I can't confirm any of the details, Crazy Taxi is a hugely multiplayer experience that is incredibly inspired by the game Fortnite. And along with that we didn't really get a chance to talk about on the showcase is the crazy taxis that you'll be able to drive yourself.
$20 skins? Wow.
The pricing has not been set in stone, but we can promise some crazy taxis on the road.
Some crazy taxis. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime.
That was beautiful. That was good. I seriously, I'm trying to think of how the gameplay could work in a Fortnite-inspired Crazy Taxi game. I literally couldn't tell you. I was trying to like, see how you were gonna freeball that, but I liked your approach instead of absolutely dodging the questions. With it's funny you said that. It's not quite done yet. Like, I love that. Because that's exactly how it would go.
That's exactly how it would go.
Yeah.
And so here's the actual. Here's what would happen is you don't actually play the taxi. You just play the people who get into the taxi.
It's a role-playing Crazy Taxi game. You have to. Oh my god.
Where it's all open mic, like VR chat.
Oh, this is great. You have to have a reason why you need pizza, because you only deliver like pizza and people in Crazy Taxi. That's pretty much it.
Yes. So you actually have to fill out a profile that is your character that claims the reason why you get from point, like where you're going,
right,
and why you need to get there.
Do you have to pay for taxis in the game? Then you're gonna have to make money somehow.
Real world with Ethereum.
Oh, Ethereum. Got it. So it's a metaverse game, of course.
Yes, it's a metaverse game.
Crazy Taxi around the metaverse. Oh my god, this is genius. This is genius. Wow. You can have NFTs that are like a ticket to ride. You never have to pay for rides ever. Whoa. Someone's listening to this getting an incredible idea. So I hope you know that you heard it here first.
Yep.
Heard it here first. That's all. So these are probably going to get canceled anyways, but I had to add them. I'm pretty excited about it. What else we got?
Sony plans to sell ads in PlayStation games. Microsoft too.
F.
This is F. Do you know who's also doing this? Netflix.
I saw. What the F is going on, everybody? What is going on?
What the fuck is going on with commercials? I thought this was the reason why we hated cable in the first place.
Oh, James, we're going back to cable. This is how it goes. Yeah. We started with cable. We had like different TV stations you would pay for, which is like streaming, and then it became cable, which is the package, the all-in-one where you get all the stations, right? And now
we have that with like Disney Plus, who are getting the big package.
We're splitting off again with streaming services. Who the hell's using cable these days? I mean, I'm sure some people are using cable, right? But streaming services, and now you got the bundles. You got the Hulu, Disney, ESPN, and then now you got the Netflix on its own dropping 200,000 subscribers this week. Like crazy.
I unsubscribe from Netflix.
You're one of them, James. You're into the number in there. You're fighting the cause, okay?
I am.
And then we're gonna go back.
Okay. No, I need to say something about Netflix. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the option of paying only $10 a month, right, for Netflix. So the base price is like 14 something, right? But if you say like if there's a cheaper option and it's $10, and the maximum resolution for that $10 option is 480p.
Yeah, forget about it, dude. Forget about it.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Sorry, that don't run. That don't run.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Let's get back into the story. Sony is working on a plan to put ads inside PlayStation games, sources said, similar to a move before Microsoft runs ads on Xbox. 3 people involved in the plan said Sony is testing with ad tech partners to help game developers innovate in-game ads through a software developer program. The idea is to encourage developers to keep building free games, which have risen in light of the pandemic, by giving them a way to monetize it. Sources said that PlayStation's current ad inventory is limited to listing ads such as game publishers promoting their own titles on the console store. The new effort, expected to be launched by the end of 2022, will place advertisements within PlayStation games themselves to be sold via a private market, the sources said. The goal is for ads to appear, as if they were part of the game, like digital billboards and sports stadiums. Formats can include ads that reward viewers for watching ads and promotions for in-game items such as avatars. Sony did not respond to requests for comment.
So, sounds like this is
You know what this means?
What?
Pepsi.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be expensive, whatever they are.
What do you like expensive ads?
Yeah, this is going to be expensive ad space. Like you see,
like it's gonna be like Transformers.
Exactly the thing I was gonna say. Transformers, a huge budget movie that's very expensive to make. They know a lot of eyes are gonna be on it. Who can afford these ads? The big boys, the Pepsis, the Cokes, the Intels, like the big ones, right? But what will this actually be? Will this be product placement that is written into games, or will this be like a Fortnite billboard? Like what does this look like?
Yeah.
I think in metaverse type situations, whatever that's going to be, that makes sense to have ads like that. I don't see it making sense. Like Kratos isn't going to pick up a Starbucks cup and be like, cheers. It's not going to happen. Cheers.
The only context in which I really see this making sense is like a GTA style game that very much is like real life. And in that way, I would almost sort of welcome it because, well,
imagine
I wouldn't, because all of their shit is like satirical.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of like making fun of other billboards and things like that.
Imagine like Cyberpunk introduces these ads on billboards and stuff, but they're able to have like make it really creative, like a futuristic take on what this product would be in the future. That might be a little fun.
I think that's kind of cool. That's like in Back to the Future too.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think there would be. I mean, obviously, I don't want this straight up. I don't want ads in games.
No, I don't want fucking.
I'm just saying, like, if it was to happen, there's some cases where I'd
also
like it more than others.
Let's talk about like how this isn't for every game.
No,
it looks like it's just mainly for free games.
Yeah, developers keep building free games. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, by giving them a way to monetize it. And
so Crazy Taxi is gonna have
Crazy Taxi is gonna have ads. You'll get Pepsi Taxi, Panda Express Taxi.
Oh,
call it the Panda Express, if you will.
It took me a second. The Panda Express. Crazy Taxi, $20 to buy the Panda Express, a walking advertisement.
Yep.
God. But yeah, Sony not responding to requests or comments is pretty funny too. I don't know.
They're like, get out of
Here's
my face.
What could be. This could be really early, and they actually don't know much about it. They're just kind of developing it and thinking about it, and that's all this article is. You know what I mean? I think we got a while to go for that.
Well, it says it's people involved said it's testing.
Yeah, expected to launch by the end of 2022. Stage. You're right. That's pretty.
That's pretty soon.
That's kind of this year.
It's kind of getting done in the oven. It's got like 10 minutes left in the oven.
Yeah.
They're testing that with a fork to see if it's done inside.
Yeah, doing the old stab test.
Yep.
The stab test. We got one more.
Mm-hmm.
I got one more news article for you, James. This one's interesting.
Okay.
We talked about this extensively on Freeze Frame this week, but a lot of it has to do with gaming stuff as well. So I thought I'd bring it up here. Warner Brothers Discovery is reportedly looking to bolster DC's gaming output. This comes from Video Games Chronicle. According to Variety, the following merger of Warner Brothers and Discovery, which will see the new conglomerate take control of Warner Brothers games, is claiming that internal discussions are taking place on how to overhaul the DC universe in media, specifically gaming as well. Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, the group's gaming division, currently has 4 DC games projects in development: Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad Killer Justice League, Wolf Among Us 2, and Wonder Woman. I always forget that Wolf Among Us 2 is DC.
I also forgot that it's DC.
I also forgot Wonder Woman was a game coming out. Remember we got that cool trailer?
Yes, me too. Mm-hmm.
Could be awesome. The report also reveals that the company plans to rejuvenate characters such as Superman, and the company seeks a Kevin Feige-like figure to oversee this expansion. Of course they want that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, DC films are in a firm second place behind Disney Marvel's Cinematic Universe at the box office. Its gaming is a much closer fight, so they think they can win gaming. The 2010s saw Batman Arkham games from Rocksteady become critical and commercial successes. Great games. Injustice series, pretty good. Pair of fighting games developed by Mortal Kombat and NetherRealm were also well received. And Marvel's gaming output has stuttered somewhat with the middling reception of disappointing performance of Marvel's Avengers, but huge success with Spider-Man. I mean, that's
and
an all-time
I'm sure
great.
Wolverine's going to be great.
I'm sure it is. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that game.
I mean, so Marvel is in this awkward spot where they like their AAA but third-party games seem to be kind of bad, but their first-party games seem to be really good.
Well, first-party PlayStation, but not Marvel first-party. You know what I mean? Like it's like like Square Enix wasn't doing much with the Marvel stuff. Well, Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty good.
Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was.
I don't think they mentioned it though because it was like middle of the reviews. It wasn't like a soaring dub for them or anything. But I think
it was not a soaring dub.
It's better than
Spider-Man was a soaring dub.
Yeah, Spider-Man was. I think it's better than Injustice though. But different games, fighting game versus third-person action.
Totally
games.
Different game.
Yeah. Anyways, so just DC games really trying to double down on they think they can overtake Marvel in the games. And I hope they try because I think they have great games.
I think they do have really, really good. I think Batman and Arkham Asylum and Arkham City are like top 20 my favorite games.
They're so good. I haven't played Origins yet.
I haven't either. I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, I got to pick that up eventually. It's on PlayStation now, so with that, you'll have it in a couple months, James, when you upgrade.
Dude, what a bummer about PlayStation Now not being able to double down upgrade for that. Yeah, do that upgrade.
Well, we were just late. A lot of people got it. We were just late. They didn't cancel it for people.
Yeah.
Random fun stuff time.
I want to start random fun stuff. Guys, Digimon Survive finally gets a release date of July 28th on Switch, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Steam.
How excited are you for this?
I'm fucking soaring.
And what console are you getting it on?
PlayStation 5.
Yeah? You don't want to play this on the go on your Switch?
It might be a good Switch game too. But I don't use my Switch on the go at all.
Me neither.
You know? I'm
not really on the go these days.
No.
Not a world traveler.
I can't fucking wait for this. I love Digimon.
PC players can now update their DualSense wireless controller with the latest firmware from Windows 11 and select Windows 10 devices without connecting to a PS5. James, who's buying this controller without a PS5? I guess there's a market.
A lot of people.
For that.
My friend Eli bought one for his PC.
Cool.
Yeah,
all right.
He loves it.
Sweet. Good. Good for them.
Jason Momoa in final negotiations to star in a Minecraft movie produced by Warner Bros. Directed by Jared Hess, who also directed Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, it's weird.
Is this a comedy?
I guess Jared Hess only does funny things or tries to be funny things, you know?
Okay.
Where do you fall on Napoleon Dynamite?
I like it.
Okay.
That like subgenre of these like kind of deadpan comedy movies just don't hit for me.
Okay. He also did another funny one about this preacher who's also an archaeologist trying to find like some lost Jesus items, and it was pretty funny. It was pretty good.
Great.
Snoop Dogg bundle now available in Warzone and Vanguard. Great. No More Heroes 3 heads to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC this fall. People love these games. Yeah. Yep. Maybe I will too. You probably will. Also, I've been kind of inspired to go play Nier Automata eventually here. It's looking really good. Yeah. God. Sonic Origins arrives June 23rd and includes Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic CD. They also released this chart that was extremely confusing about the different versions of the game and the things here.
Oh, God.
It's like 10 different versions of the game and a lot of check marks and a lot of X's. Check that out. It's a little tough.
You see how Trek to Yomi released a similar chart and it just checks through the whole thing.
They're like, it's the same. Yeah. It's the same all the way through.
Yep.
Can't wait for Trek to Yomi, dude.
It's coming up.
Yeah, $17. It's on sale. I mean, for the PlayStation Plus thing, it's on sale. A couple bucks off. I might pick it up.
I can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 release date moved up from September to July 29th this year.
Quick note about that. Apparently, Nintendo does not give review copies. They give review copies to only certain vetted people, so not a lot of people get review copies. So Skill Up, who we watch sometimes, he said that he's not on the verified list for some reason. So he's like, I'll review this for any site for free. Like, I just want to play the game early and like I'll review it for you guys and not even my own content. That's how excited he is.
What
about
a guy!
It. But I think it's
weird.
I
want to play Xenoblade.
Yeah,
it's one of those RPGs that like I could get into if I give myself the time for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got big old mechs.
We know James loves some mechs. James, I saw you finished your mech the other day. Your Gundam.
I did. I finished my Evangelion, my Evo 01.
I love it. I can't wait to see that baby close up. Give a little kiss on the head, you know?
Yep. That'll be great. Be careful. The horn falls off.
Okay, I'll be very careful. Guys, that was episode 109 of Checkpoint. I'll say that episode is an absolute banger. That was a really fun one.
Absolute fucking banger.
Yeah. Share it with your friends, y'all. It means a lot. We got a lot of stuff going on the channel. James, any final things before we close this episode off?
Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the things to boost our algorithm.
And James, I'll see you in a couple weeks. I don't know who's going to be on next week or the week after or the week after, but I'll see you after. I got to figure that out. That's on the scheduling. All right. Much love, everybody. The next time you see James, he'll be a graduated boy.
I will. I'll be back in my old setup.
That's right. And we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.